So we have spent some weeks now. I hope joyfully and fruitfully practicing and studying the Eightfold Path. And we've gotten to study along with the words of some of the women teachers of our era. I saw recently in a Branching Streams newsletter that different sanghas were focusing on women teachers because it's Women's Month, and people of colored teachers because it's Black Awareness Month. I'm not sure what they're called. And I thought, well, we're not doing that. And then I thought, but we try to do that a lot. And one of the next things we want to do as soon as it comes out is I really want to focus on Zenju Earthling Manuel's new book on darkness. I'm so looking forward to that. So tonight, chapter 8, we have as everything in Buddhism, it's not linear. It's not like, well, now you do this and then you graduate and then you get to do this and then you get to do this. It's a great big circle. So right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and tonight, right concentration or samadhi. They're also deeply and intimately interwoven. So this chapter is Right Samadhi or Concentration by Pat Enkyo O'Hara. Pat Enkyo O'Hara is, she's, yes.
If you have just a minute at some point.
Okay. Pat is in the Maizumi lineage and in New York City, and has, as far as I know, she's one of the first. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't know, but she has been a solid teacher, running her own as a guiding teacher of a major sangha for quite a while. So I'm really pleased to share some of her words. And again, I just am loving so much exploring how other people teach and what they bring forward. So she says, over 2,000 years ago in India, a woman follower of Shakyamuni wrote a verse. I cultivated a state of mind that depends on nothing else and cannot be measured. I became focused, collected. I am free, and I will always be completely free. Let me read that again. That's so beautiful. I cultivated a state of mind that depends on nothing else and cannot be measured. I became focused, collected. I am free, and I will always be completely free. Pat Enkyo says, this woman called Sonia describes a state of mind that sounds centered and composed, and at the same time unrestrained. When she says that it depends on nothing else, it's as if she experiences a quality of mind that doesn't hinge on her life situation, her past, or on whether she is feeling good or bad, happy or sad. Instead, it is a way of being that renders her centered and at one with her wholeness, just as she is. As she plainly says, she is free. It is quite an expansive and remarkable statement, given the times and her situation as a female follower of Shakyamuni and mother of 10. Just think, wow. We are part of an amazing lineage. And it's been going on for a very long time, and it was going on before Buddha. So then Pat Enkyo shares that she's part of this lineage too. And as a modern day woman, she often goes to her cushion, still overflowing. This may sound maybe more familiar to you than what Sonia has to say. Still overflowing with various thoughts, ideas, things to do. And sometimes as I sit down, find my posture, regulate my breathing, place my tongue against my front teeth, I am still chatting with myself about this and that. This is when I say to myself, stop talking. And when I stop talking to myself, I begin to sink into a flow of experience that really has no description. It simply is flow itself. It is a moment-to-moment aliveness, a more spacious experience of myself as an element in the life of all life. Recently, after Zazen, I wrote, sitting quietly, I meet myself stripped of words and ideas. Just this, nothing is left over. Thousands of years apart, two women drink of the same river, the healing waters of wholesome concentration of Samadhi. What is it, and has it changed? Are we doing the same thing? Is this river that we taste and this chatty mind, is this something unique to Western periods of now? Or is this practice and what it's pointing at been here for a long, long time? So then she says, she gives a little history. The earliest teaching that we now have, the Pali Sutras, first written down about the 1st century, formed the foundation for the many strands of Buddhist practice that have evolved in myriad forms in Asia and now in the Western world. Imagine the myriad evolution of meaning and use and context as these early writings poured into Southeast Asia and then China and Japan and Korea and now to the West and Europe and Northern and Southern America. This cultural and spatial transformation of the teachings is also affected by the inexorable flow of time and generational change. How anything is interpreted is so modulated by indigenous culture, accidental history, and the unexplained that we must be careful not to fixate on any one meaning of what Samadhi means. We don't really talk about Samadhi here. Kind of felt to me like an old-fashioned word, and I haven't brought it forward much. And I'm really glad she is. She says the word Samadhi is old, exclamation point. It predates Buddhism and appears in the earliest Upanishads, the Maitreya. It's also in the teachings of yoga, Jainism, Hinduism, Sikhism, and appears in shamanistic works. So there's something here that's woven through all of these traditions across time and lands right here at the very heart of this tradition. So in this tradition, here in the West, we talk about right concentration, or she uses the word wholesome concentration. And it's usually used to refer to meditation, and its etymology carries a sense of bringing together. If we bring the mind to the center, if we let incidental thoughts drop away, we align and stabilize, and we stop the scattering, and we focus. That's what we're doing, yes? It's what human beings have been doing across time and space. Isn't that amazing? This deep yearning and this potentiality and this possibility that people have sat down over time to focus their mind right in the center of the midst of all of the noise and the chatter. Just like us. Pali word jhanic states. It's an early emphasis in the Pali in jhanic states. The jhanas predated Buddhists. You can still see them in India. The jhanas, as I understand them and know them, which is very, very little, is that they didn't want to harm anything. And so they wear masks and they wear booties on their feet, and they try to walk without stepping on anything and harming anything. And there's a focus on really deep concentration, a concentration that I think in my experience and in early Pali Buddhism looks like it doesn't necessarily connect you to the world. It's a way to be pure within it. But jhana is known as Chan or Zen. And that's the root of Zen, what we do. And what we know, the way that we do it is through Zazen. There are so many different ways to meditate. Some of you have come from other traditions. She says, there are as many systems of instruction on how to meditate and focus as there are streams of the Dharma. Depending on what school, what time period, what language and culture, the practice instructions will vary. Later instructions in many of the Buddhist traditions are highly codified, prescriptive instructions delineating a step-by-step methodology for attaining progressive grades of Samadhi. So somehow we land in Zen. And what does Zen say? It says, just sit down. Just be with your breath. She says, as one of our treasured yet terse meditations instructions has it from Dogen, having adjusted your body, take a breath and exhale fully, then sway your body from left to right. Now sit steadfastly and think, not thinking. How do you think, not thinking? Beyond thinking. This is the essential art of Zazen. Got it? You can work with this one for the rest of your life. She says, we have to learn to drop into the stream of breath. Isn't that beautiful? To drop into the stream. Just give yourself to breath. The thinking, the intentionality drops away, and we can simply enjoy the ebb and flow of Samadhi, of just being. This is beyond thinking. It is more like riding on a slow moving current in a broad river. Ooh. We should sit down sometime and just encourage each other to write beautiful things like that. Is what's your experience from the inside? Like riding a slow moving current in a broad river. Enjoying the ebb and flow. No place to go, nothing to do. Just this, nothing extra, just this. So now that we've dropped into this wondrous flow, what's that have to do with the rest of the world? Zen and meditation has been criticized for, what are you all doing just sitting around? Why don't you get up and do something? I so here's a fascicle from Dogen from the Ocean Mudra Samadhi, where he talks about the connection between Samadhi and the compassionate service of Avalokiteshvara. Samadhi is actualization. It is expression. It is the time of night when a hand is reaching back, groping for a pillow. When the hand reaches back for a pillow at night, this groping is not limited to thousands and millions of eons, but is, I am always in the ocean expounding the wondrous Lotus Sutra. Now, some of you may know, there's a beautiful koan. Avalokiteshvara, the entire body is hands and eyes, and it's like reaching back for a pillow in the night. It's one of my most favorite. Another beautiful description that's ungraspable, but so palpably descriptive that at night when you reach for the pillow, your mind isn't tracking. You don't know what you're doing, but there's some intuition in the hands and eyes of the body that knows how to find exactly what's needed. And I love that the heart is an extension. The hand is an extension of the hand. So in a deep place of sitting awake in the waves of breath, the hand and the hands and the thousand hands and eyes naturally extend and reach and touch and are touched by the entire world. She says, Dogen often emphasizes this aliveness of samadhi. Because he's pointing to a hazard, quietism, blankness, or what some of my contemporaries call Zen zombies. Just so you know, this is an alive, awake practice. This isn't about going to sleep and getting away from anything. It's waking up right in the center of it. Use those many hands and eyes of the Bodhisattva of compassion, offering teachings, offering support, service, and expression and life to living beings. That's the enactment of samadhi, the actualization of it, and the embodiment of the Eightfold Path. Live it, be it. Keep coming back over and over. The expression of samadhi rests in our ordinary lives. Okay. Here's a wonderful description. A person who studies the path must become again like an infant. This isn't about getting smarter. This isn't about adding anything on top of anything. Then praise and blame, success and fame, unfavorable circumstances and favorable environments, none of these can move you. Consider how a ball bounces, moves, flows over waves, and under them bumbles into eddies, and just responds exquisitely to the flow of reality around it, the reality in which it finds itself. What better image is there than a ball on swiftly flowing water? This is the flow that is the here and now, not our idea of some enlightened here and now, but our actual lives genuinely lived. I keep thinking, I'll sign up for that. Yes. Years and years ago, not even knowing, and I still don't know, but yes. Something I already know, something you already know, and something that we can more and more wake up into and actualize for the sake of all beings. Samadhi, with its long history and development through so many cultures and times, resists definition, and yet its effect on everyone who is willing to engage with it is a profound healing, a coming together of oneself as self and as the flow of time and space of beings and non-beings. It offers us a profound healing into liberation and compassion for the world. 2 women, many women. Here, 2 women, Sonia, living in Shakyamuni's time, and I, Pat Enkyo, and you, living today, share this healing power of Samadhi. Surely, over time and cultural styles, our formulations and theories about how to describe it and what its benefits and hazards are will continue to change. But what will remain is the extraordinary joy and peace it offers, freedom with nothing left out, and expressing it with and for all beings. And then she ends with, Zazen. We've given this amazing, beautiful practice. That's the beginning, the middle, the end. There's no advanced practice. She says posture, breath. Don't concern yourself with trying to get to some particular place or state of mind. Each day's Zazen will be a little different, just like the rest of your life. We practice steadiness in our daily meditation, alert, sleepy, focused. We just practice each day through the high points and the low, and when you mess up, and you will. This is so important to hear this over and over. You're going to mess up. That's part of it. Just say, okay, back to my cushion. And when you were sitting, you may realize that you were thinking about something else. Shocking. At that moment, take a deep breath and recognize that in that moment of realization, you have come back to now. Zazen is a form that allows us to practice the no form of boundless emptiness. The freedom that is made available to us through form is one of those grand paradoxes of life. When we organize ourselves and create a structure, we also create the means to be free from structure. Form helps us by organizing and directing our energies. There we are, takes us right back to form and the forms we've been studying and the Doan practice. That there is a particular way to sit in Zazen. It's very, very specific, and it contains the whole world. We can carry our form lightly with respect and appreciation for its gifts, and remember this subtle discipline. Settling, unifying, and letting be. Settling, unifying, letting be. And that this is called the Dharma gate of ease and joy. And it's an active practice, completely engaged and interconnected with the world, because what else are we and where else would we be? Right in the midst of the world. Our crazy minds, our thoughts, our hopes, our fears, settling. Unifying, one-pointed. Posture, breath, just here, just this. And letting be. I might say letting go, so that we can respond with our 1,000 hands and eyes to the entire world like Avalokiteshvara, which is the source of great ease and joy. You're not doing anything and you're saving all beings. So here's a question. We'll do small groups in the room. You guys can figure out how to divide yourselves into